Is your contracting company familiar with debt?
Many of you already know this, but so many folks are drowning under the weight of debt. Debt.
Paying down the debt.
It's making contracting companies go out of business left and right. Today, we're going to meet Jose, a 25-year-old company owner. 2 months ago, his company was in a little bit of debt. Fast forward to today, his company is completely debt-free and is on track to doing 200K this October with our help. Let's hear it from him. Jose, what sort of work do you do?
We got a landscape division and then we got the concrete division. So we do residential work mainly, not really too much commercial. Like anything that's outdoors, basically, we do it.
How did you first find out about us?
Honestly, I think you called me and I thought you were kind of like a spam. I answered it one day and then you were telling me, oh, I got a guy in Denver. I was telling one of my other guys, I was like, yeah, this guy's calling me saying that he can get us a bunch of work. And then you told me that you had a guy who worked near me that I could call. And I called him. I was talking to him in Spanish. I was like, you work with Reed? And he was like, yeah, I do. I asked him, I was like, do you recommend, like, does the work actually come in? He's like, yeah, he gets me a lot of estimates. He's like, if you have the extra money to spend, he's like, he gets me enough work, so I kind of contemplated it. You kept kind of like following up, and then finally I was just like, all right, I mean, like, let's give it a shot.
Awesome. Love that story. Yeah. It was we gave you the infamous cold call. Yeah. Well, how are we doing now? I mean, we're how many months in? Two.
Almost two. Yeah, we're at two right now.
Like two-ish. Okay. So yeah, how's it been so far?
I mean, it was good. I mean, that first month that I got into it was like, that was a rougher month for me with my grandma being in the hospital and everything. And I wasn't on my A game. And even then it was still a good month. I mean, coming into this, we like had talked to you in our meeting earlier that, coming into this, we were like failing almost into a sense, like we still had a decent amount of work, but we were in debt. And ever since we got with you, that first month we paid off like almost all of our debt, get out of debt, almost debt free. And then now we're on our second month to be our best month yet in October, which is usually when things kind of slow down. And yeah, like now we're about to break our best month ever. We just got our best piece of equipment that we've ever purchased. Like things are going like smooth.
I appreciate the honesty, by the way, right? A surprising amount of people are in that situation. A lot of the country, is in debt. A lot of company owners. So, I think that resonates with a lot of people. And, that's a part of, growing a company, taking risk and being in that situation. So, now you're on track to hit your best month. What are you shooting for? Like, what are we on track to do in October?
We're only 4 days in and we're probably at 20 to 30,000 closed already. If things plan out the way that, like, with all the jobs we already got on the books and everything, we should be breaking about 200K this month.
Okay, sweet. And we're also, slowly entering into the slow season, so that's really good. What does the future hold? So obviously we're running into the slow season soon. We got December, January, February coming up. So if we can kind of keep around 200K per month, 100 on the low end, that would be great. But then after that, the start of next year, when that swings around, what are the goals and what do you want to accomplish, with us, with our help?
I mean, like, so far with what you guys already helped me with, like, we have two crews, our concrete crew and landscape crew, fully booked out. So going into the next year, I would definitely like to expand the crews. I think with enough work, we're ready to be able to expand it. We're ready to have at least two concrete crews running and maybe two landscape crews running. So that's how I kind of envision the beginning of next year going.
Technically, you could get up to like 400K per month, right?
Realistically, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. That's like almost 5 mil per year.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't even think about it like that either. Yeah, no, that would be cool. That would be really cool.
That would be epic. Yeah. You mentioned earlier you were skeptical at the beginning because I'm from Canada. We're a Canadian company. Even though we only take on US based clients, we work with nobody from Canada. What made you decide to like work with a Canadian company, trust a dude from Canada when you could have just worked with someone locally?
I don't know, man. It was really like, because it was talking to you, and then like I think you knew I didn't really trust you, and then like you gave me the references to give them a call, and part of me was like, these could be fake references. and then talking to them. But talking to that guy in Spanish, that really sold me, you know, because I was like, you know, most Mexican, he's old school Mexican, you can tell, you know, like, yeah. So like talking to him and when he was telling me the stuff in Spanish that he was telling me, like I was like, oh, okay. I was like, this guy's legit. I was like, he obviously works with this other guy, you know? And
Right.
so
There's no way he's faking it, right? He's just like too culturally different. Like it's just, yeah, how would we have got that?
yeah. Yeah, that's kind of that was the main selling point. And then I did my research on you, and I even sent you like one of your old websites or something, I think. And I was like, you know, I was like, this one's not active or something. And I don't know. I did my research. I watched some of the other testimonials, and I mean, I just, you know, I talked to Augustine, who's the other part of this, you know, and he was like, man, you know, let's leave it to the professionals, you know, like if he's claiming that he can get us this much work, you know, like what do we have to lose? We were already in debt, you know,
And
but
I didn't even know that you guys were in that situation coming in. So, you know, I'm glad we did good, you know. I'm glad
yeah.
we turned things around. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's cool because like right now we're basically like debt free, you know, so it's like it's amazing to see all of our profits and everything come in and have that money, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah. And now it's just up and up. What would you say to other contracting companies on the fence about working with us and making that initial investment of, you know, a bare minimum of, you know, basically 4K a month? They're a little bit nervous, you know, they have to invest this money up front without being guaranteed results.
Well, what's that one saying? It's scared money don't make money. If you're scared to like invest the money, then you know, like it obviously like us, we were in a tough situation, you know, like even being in debt, you know, we really didn't have that kind of money to kind of invest, you know, we had to take it from where we had it, you know, and try to put it in and just hope it went well, you know, but it was a risk that paid off. So anybody who's in the similar situation, whether you don't have the money or you're like, oh, I barely have any work, you know, and like, I don't know if I can afford $2,000 a month. That's how I thought it at first too. I was like, well, how can I pay $2,000 a month to somebody and then on top of that pay money for ads, you know? I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, like my personal bills alone are like $4,000 a month, you know, just personally, you know, like how am I supposed to give $4,000 a month to somebody else too, you know? Like,
Right.
but
Exactly.
that's like I said, it's like if you're scared to invest, you know, maybe business is not for you. There's always going to be somebody who does everything better than you. You know, like I took a mentor course. I learned how to run ads, but I don't run ads as good as you guys, you know? Like I didn't get that many leads the way that you guys get leads. It's not just the ads, it's you guys are helping us form a business, like an actual legitimate business structure overall, you know? That kind of brings me back to the thing what you said earlier, like why did I choose you versus somebody local, was because you weren't just ads. I had a guy here who could have just ran ads for me, you know, but you were business coaching, sales coaching, you know, like you're there to help the website building out, Google, you know, the Facebook page, you know, like you're there to actually develop a business and not just run ads for me. And I feel like that kind of really sold me too.
I feel like that's what sells a lot of people is, you know, we have weekly meetings where we're like, you know, looking at how we can close more of the estimates, making sure you're branded well, getting estimators so that you don't actually have to spend all of your days sending out estimates, getting people to run your crews, you know, so you can finally step out of your company and like spend time doing what you want. We don't just want to be like, oh, we give you jobs or like we give you appointments. Like, we take you from where you are to exactly where you want to go, you know? We have dozens of other companies that are doing exactly what you want to do. So we're just modeling from them and like putting it into your company, right? And we even bring them on. You know, like I do that for a lot of our clients. Like if they need advice on certain things, like we bring on our other really successful clients and they just hop on and they'll share like, you know, their contracts or their what their process is for like their crews, how they structure their concrete crews, stuff like that.
Yeah. But like I'm glad, you know, like I am in a good place, you know, mentally, financially, everything, you know. So it's been a big turnaround. Even Augustine, he is happy, like you could tell, like that man, he calls me sometimes and he's just like, you know, he talks about how happy he is, the way things are going. He's like, because we've done a lot of trial and error, you know, we've done in-house work, we've subbed out work, we've you know, had different crews. We hired the cheapest guys. We've hired expensive guys, you know. And like now we just got a structure that works. You know, everybody's happy, down to the guys who get, or the employees who get paid, to the foremans, to everybody, you know. I mean, like I said, like long-term goal be for me is to eventually get out. Yeah, I want it to be a self-sustaining company, something that runs without me.
As long-term goal is watching Netflix and seeing the deals come in. Cool, yeah. Scared money don't make no money.
A scared man don't make no money. Scared money don't make no money. A scared man don't make no money. Scared money don't make